Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Ready to explore some more cutting-edge AI today?
Always ready to dive in. What's on the docket?
Well, we're going to unpack this fascinating report we got from Omega Venture Partners, all about this company called DeepSeek. They really seem to be turning heads in the AI world, and Omega, well, you know their reputation.
Oh yeah, Omega Venture Partners. If they're interested, everyone pays attention. They've got a knack for spotting those game-changing companies, the ones that end up shaping the entire industry.
Exactly. So that's what we're trying to figure out today, right? Is DeepSeek the real deal or just hype? What's so special about them? And what does all this mean for the future of AI? What does it mean for businesses?
Big questions. Let's break it down.
Okay, so first things first. DeepSeek, they've developed this open-source AI model that's supposedly rivaling, even surpassing some of the big proprietary systems out there. And they're doing it faster and cheaper, which is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's the part that's really got everyone buzzing. For a while, it's been all about who has the most computing power, who can build the biggest AI models. But DeepSeek is like, hold on, maybe there's a smarter way.
Right, so how are they pulling this off? What's their secret sauce?
Well, one of their key techniques is something called model distillation. Imagine it like this. You have this amazing professor, a true expert in their field, and they're teaching a small group of really bright students.
Okay, I'm following. So the students are like the DeepSeek model.
Exactly. You got it. So this teacher model, which is super complex and massive, it trains a smaller, more streamlined student model, which ends up being DeepSeek. And that's how they achieve those impressive results with fewer resources.
That's incredibly clever. So they're essentially distilling the essence of a huge AI into a more efficient package.
Right. And that aligns perfectly with what Omega Venture Partners has been emphasizing for years. AI needs to be more efficient, more accessible, not just bigger and more resource intensive.
That makes a lot of sense. And this actually brings us to a wider trend we're seeing, the rise of open source AI. DeepSeek is a great example, but it's not alone. We're seeing more and more of these open source models challenging those big proprietary systems.
Absolutely. Open source is really changing the game. It allows for incredible collaboration, brings together all these brilliant minds from all over the world.
It's like a global brain trust for AI.
I like that, a global brain trust. And it means things move faster, innovations happen quicker, and everyone benefits. Especially businesses, smaller companies that couldn't afford those expensive AI systems before. Now they have access to cutting-edge tools.
Yeah, that's huge. It really levels the playing field. But what does this mean for companies like OpenAI? They've built their whole business on these premium proprietary systems.
It's definitely a challenge for them. One of OpenAI's big selling points has been their use of expensive test time compute. It's basically extra computing power they use even during the running phase to get those top-notch results. But if DeepSeek can deliver similar performance without all that extra compute, well, it makes you question that whole premium pricing model.
So DeepSeek's efficiency is not just a tech thing, it's an economic disruptor, too. Wow, things are getting interesting.
It's fascinating to watch it unfold, and this gets to the heart of how businesses actually use AI. You have the training costs, which are huge, but then you have the inference costs, which is what businesses really care about, the cost of actually using the AI.
Makes sense. You spend millions training the model, but then it's the running cost that really matters for businesses day to day.
Exactly, and that's where DeepSeek shines. They've made that using part much cheaper, and it goes back to that Omega Venture Partners philosophy, applied AI. They're all about companies that can actually implement these advancements, turn them into solutions, help businesses solve problems, generate revenue, do real things.
So it's about bridging that gap between the research lab and the real world. It's about making AI practical and useful.
Absolutely, and that's the kind of disruption that Omega Venture Partners is looking for. They want to see companies that can truly change the way we work and live with AI.
So you're saying DC could be a game changer for all those companies that were hesitant to jump on the AI bandwagon because of the costs.
It could definitely open doors for them. Suddenly, AI-powered customer service or streamlined logistics become a reality, even for smaller players.
That's incredibly exciting. But wait, wouldn't that actually increase the demand for the hardware needed to run these models? If AI gets cheaper and more accessible, wouldn't everyone want in? Leading to a surge in demand for things like GPUs.
That's a really insightful point, and Omega Venture Partners has actually highlighted that counterintuitive trend. It might seem counterintuitive, but cheaper AI could actually lead to a boom for hardware manufacturers in the long run.
Interesting. So it's not a zero-sum game, it's a rising tide that lifts all boats.
I think that's a good way to look at it, but, with all this excitement around DeepSeek, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There are some open questions about their development and claims.
Oh, like what?
Well, they've been pretty vocal about how little their training costs were, like $5.7 million, which is incredibly low for a model of this scale.
Yeah, I remember reading that. Sounds almost too good to be true.
And that's where Omega Venture Partners' experience really comes into play. They've been around the block, invested in tons of AI companies, and they're a little skeptical about that number. They think DeepSeek might be leaving out some key expenses like infrastructure costs, labor for their engineering team, all those iterations and refinements that go into building a truly robust AI model.
So the true cost is probably much higher. I guess that makes sense.
Almost definitely. And there's also some uncertainty about the hardware they used for training. They haven't been very transparent about that. And Omega Venture Partners really emphasizes transparency, especially when you're dealing with such powerful AI models.
Yeah, I see their point. It's about understanding the whole picture, not just the end result.
Exactly. It's like appreciating a work of art. You don't just look at the finished painting. You want to know about the artist's technique, the materials they use, the story behind the creation. And that's how Omega Venture Partners approaches AI investing. They look at the whole ecosystem, the technology, the team, the ethical considerations, everything.
They're not just chasing hype, they're looking for substance. I like that.
Exactly. But speaking of hype, remember that whole AI plateau theory?
Oh yeah, the idea that AI development was going to hit a wall in 2024. I remember reading about that.
Right. Some experts were predicting that we were reaching the limits of what's possible with AI, that progress would slow down.
But DeepSeek seems to be proving them wrong.
Absolutely. They're throwing that whole plateau theory out the window. They're showing that there's still so much room for innovation, for breakthroughs. It's a really exciting time to be following AI.
Okay, so what are these architectural innovations that DeepSeek is using? How are they pushing the boundaries of what's possible?
Well, one of the key techniques they're using is called mixture of experts, or MUE. It's like having a team of specialized AI agents, each with their own area of expertise, working together on a problem. Instead of one massive model trying to do everything, you have these smaller, more focused modules tackling specific tasks.
So it's about dividing and conquering, playing to the strengths of each expert.
Precisely. And it makes the whole system much more efficient and adaptable. And then they have multi-head latent attention, or MLA. That's all about optimizing how the model processes information, making it more efficient without sacrificing performance.
It sounds like they're squeezing every ounce of performance out of their system.
They really are, and they're also using multi-token prediction, or MTP, which allows the model to predict multiple words at once, speeding things up and making conversations feel more natural. Plus, they have this think phase with reinforcement learning, where the AI can actually adjust how much it thinks based on the complexity of the task.
So it's like the AI knows when to conserve its energy and when to really put on its thinking cap? That's incredible.
It really is. They've packed DeepSeek with all sorts of clever innovations, and it's paying off. It's performing incredibly well. And that's why Omega Venture Partners is so bullish on their potential. They see DeepSeek as a leading example of the kind of disruptive innovation that's going to reshape the AI landscape in the years to come.
DeepSeek is definitely a fascinating case study in the evolution of AI. It's amazing to see how these architectural choices are driving their success.
It really highlights how important those architectural choices are, how much they can impact a model's performance and efficiency. And Omega Venture Partners, with their deep understanding of AI and their knack for spotting these groundbreaking companies, they're really on top of this trend.
They seem to have a real knack for anticipating where the AI puck is going, so to speak.
They do, and they're not just observing, they're actively shaping that future by investing in the companies that are leading the charge. It's an exciting time to be involved in AI, and DeepSeek is definitely a company to keep an eye on.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, from DeepSeek's disruptive efficiency and architectural wizardry to this whole idea of open source AI taking center stage. It's clear that DeepSeek is making waves and that the AI world is changing rapidly.
It is, and you know what? That brings us to another fascinating angle, the geopolitical aspect. DeepSeek being developed in China adds another layer of complexity to this whole story.
Oh yeah, the US-China rivalry when it comes to AI, that's a big one. Let's dive into that next.
And it feeds right into that whole US-China competition when it comes to AI. Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to control this powerful tech?
Yeah, it's like everyone's waiting to see who's going to win the AI race.
Right. But you know, Omega Venture Partners, they have a slightly different perspective on all this.
I'm sure they do. They always bring that unique viewpoint to the table.
They're less focused on the rivalry and more on the bigger picture of advancing AI as a field. They see the research community as this global entity. Sure, there's competition, but there's also this shared passion, this drive to push the boundaries of what's possible.
So it's not just about national interest. It's about pushing the limits of human knowledge.
Exactly. And this is where open source AI models like DeepSeek come in. They break down those barriers between countries. They allow for collaboration. They bring together the brightest minds from all over.
It's like they're building a global AI think tank.
Yeah, think tank. That's a good way to put it. And Omega Venture Partners, they see the power of that, the power of bringing together different perspective and approaches. They're not just looking for companies that can build AI in isolation. They're looking for the ones that can tap into that global network network of talent and expertise.
So they're placing their bets on the companies that can transcend those national boundaries.
Precisely. And DeepSeek, they're a perfect example of that, emerging from China, but with a global impact already.
It's a good reminder that innovation knows no borders.
Absolutely. And Omega Venture Partners, with their global reach and their deep understanding of the AI space, they're in a prime position to spot these emerging players wherever they pop up.
So they're like those talent scouts, but for AI. Always on the lookout for the next big thing.
Exactly. They're at the forefront of this whole AI revolution, and they're the ones to watch if you want to understand where this tech is headed.
Well, they've certainly given us a lot to think about with their analysis of DeepSeek, but let's shift gears for a second and talk about something else Omega Venture Partners brought up. They were talking about DeepSeek's potential to disrupt the status quo, specifically companies like OpenAI.
Yeah, OpenAI has been the big player for so long, especially with their GPT models. But DeepSeek, they're coming in with this different approach, this focus on efficiency that could really shake things up.
So you're saying DeepSeek's efficiency could be a direct threat to OpenAI's whole premium pricing strategy.
That's exactly it. OpenAI has been able to charge a premium because they've consistently delivered those cutting-edge results, especially with their use of test-time compute during inference. Basically, they're throwing a lot of computing power at the problem, even during the running phase, which gets expensive.
And DeepSeek's doing things differently.
Completely. They've designed their system to be leaner, to get the most out of every computation. They're achieving similar results, maybe even better in some cases, but without all that extra compute.
It's like they found a way to be both powerful and efficient, a deadly combination.
You got it. And that's what has Omega Venture Partners so intrigued. They see DeepSeek as this prime example of a new kind of AI company, one that's focused on delivering both performance and efficiency. It's a combo that could really disrupt the whole market.
So this isn't just about better tech, it's about a better business model too.
Exactly. And that brings us to what this all means for businesses. One of the biggest roadblocks to AI adoption has always been the cost. DeepSeek's approach could completely change that game.
You think so?
Imagine a company, maybe mid-sized, wants to personalize their customer interactions or streamline their supply chain using AI. Before, that would have been a huge investment, maybe out of reach altogether.
But with DeepSeek's approach, that all changes.
It could, and that's where Omega Venture Partners' vision for the future with AI really comes in. They're not just looking for cool tech. They want to see AI democratized, made available to companies of all sizes so everyone can benefit.
It's about leveling the playing field, giving everyone access to those powerful tools.
Exactly. And Omega Venture Partners, they're not just funding research projects, they're looking for companies that can bring those research breakthroughs to the real world, make them practical, make them work for businesses.
So they're bridging that gap between the lab and the boardroom.
That's the key. And they've got a real track record of identifying those companies early on. Some of the biggest names in AI today, Omega Venture Partners was there at the beginning, and they see that same potential in DeepSeek. It's not just about the technology, it's about how that technology is going to change the way we do business.
Well, they've certainly painted a compelling picture of DeepSeek so far, but is there anything businesses should be cautious about? Any potential downsides?
That's a great question, and Omega Venture Partners does highlight one potential concern, the security aspect, especially with open source AI.
Yeah, because with open source, anyone can access the code, make changes, potentially introduce vulnerabilities.
Exactly. And while that open access is great for innovation, it does create opportunities for bad actors. So companies need to be aware of those security risks if they're considering using DeepSeek.
So it's about using this powerful tool responsibly with the right safeguards in place.
Exactly. Omega Venture Partners really emphasizes the importance of working with cybersecurity experts, making sure those AI systems are secure and protected from potential threats.
Okay, so DeepSeek's efficiency is impressive, but it's not a magic bullet. Businesses need to do their due diligence, carefully weigh the benefits and the risks.
Absolutely. And this is where Omega Venture Partners' expertise is so valuable. They have that deep understanding of the AI landscape, both the tech and the business side of things. They can help companies navigate those complexities, make informed decisions that align with their goals.
It's like having an experienced guide in this uncharted territory of AI.
That's a perfect analogy. And that's what Omega Venture Partners does for its portfolio companies. They're not just investors. They're partners there to help those companies succeed in the long run. And they believe DeepSeek has the potential to be one of those success stories, one that changes the game for everyone.
It's clear that DeepSeek is making waves in the AI community. And it'll be fascinating to see how this focus on efficiency and open source impacts the industry as a whole.
It will, and Omega Venture Partners, with their insights and their commitment to supporting those groundbreaking companies, they're going to be right there in the middle of it all.
Well, their analysis has given us a lot to think about, but let's zoom out for a second and talk about the broader implications of DeepSeek's innovations. It's not just about affordability, it's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI. And that's where their architectural choices, the way we've designed their model, come in.
Right. It's not just about doing things faster and cheaper. It's about doing things that weren't even possible before.
So it's about expanding the realm of what AI can achieve.
Exactly. And Omega Venture Partners is really excited about that potential. They believe companies like DeepSeek, the ones pushing those architectural boundaries, they're the ones who are going to drive the next wave of AI innovation.
It's like they're unlocking a whole new level of AI capabilities.
That's a great way to put it. And Omega Venture Partners, with their keen eye for spotting those game changers, they're perfectly positioned to ride that wave, to be a part of that next chapter in AI.
They're not just observing the future, they're helping to create it.
Exactly. And that brings us to another fascinating dimension of DeepSeek, its geopolitical significance, because DeepSeek being developed in China, well, that raises some really interesting questions about the global landscape of AI innovation.
Right, that adds a whole other layer of complexity to this story. It's not just about the tech anymore, it's about global power dynamics.
It is, and that's what we're going to explore next, how DeepSeek fits into this global AI landscape and what it means for the future of this technology. So we've got this incredible AI company, DeepSeek, turning heads with its efficiency and open source approach, and it just happens to be coming out of China.
Which, throws a bit of a wrench in the whole US-China AI rivalry narrative. Suddenly, it's not so clear-cut.
Right. Everyone's trying to figure out who's going to be the dominant force in AI, who's going to control this powerful tech.
It's become this high-stakes race. Everyone's watching to see who pulls ahead.
And Omega Venture Partners, with their finger on the pulse of the AI world, they have a really interesting take on this whole geopolitical angle.
They always do, always looking at things from a different perspective. What's their take on this?
Well, they believe that at its core, the AI research community is truly global. Sure, there's competition between countries, but there's also this shared passion, this drive to push the boundaries of AI as a field.
So it's not just about us versus them. It's about a collective pursuit of knowledge and innovation.
Exactly. It's about advancing AI for the benefit of everyone, not just one nation. And that's where open source AI models like DeepSeek have this incredible advantage. They encourage collaboration, they break down those barriers between countries, allowing the best minds from all over the world to contribute.
It's like they're creating a global AI ecosystem, a melting pot of ideas and approaches.
That's a great way to put it. And Omega Venture Partners, they see the power of that global ecosystem. They're not interested in companies that are trying to build AI in isolation. They're looking for the ones that can tap into that global network of talent and expertise, the ones that are embracing that collaborative spirit.
So they're not placing bets on countries, they're placing bets on the companies that can transcend those national boundaries.
Exactly. And DeepSeek, they're a prime example of that. They've emerged from China, but their impact is being felt worldwide. It's a reminder that innovation can come from anywhere, that the future of AI isn't going to be dictated by any single nation.
It's a truly global phenomenon, a collective effort to unlock the potential of this incredible technology.
And Omega Venture Partners, with their global reach and their deep understanding of the AI landscape, they're perfectly positioned to identify and support those groundbreaking companies no matter where they pop up on the map.
It's like they're those global scouts constantly on the lookout for the next AI superstar.
Exactly. They're the ones to watch if you want to understand where AI is headed, because they're not just observing the trends, they're actively shaping the future by investing in the companies that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Well, I think we've done a pretty thorough deep dive into DeepSeek and its potential impact on the world of AI. We've covered a lot of ground, from their disruptive efficiency and innovative architecture to the geopolitical implications of their emergence.
We have, and hopefully our listeners are starting to see that DeepSeek is more than just another AI company. They're a signal of things to come, a glimpse into the future of AI.
So as we wrap it here, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with? What's the one big idea they should hold on to?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the future of AI isn't just about raw power or having the biggest data sets. It's about efficiency. It's about making this technology accessible to everyone. And it's about finding innovative ways to apply AI to solve real-world problems.
So it's not just about building bigger and better AI models. It's about making AI work for all of us.
Exactly. And that's why Omega Venture Partners is so focused on supporting those companies that are pushing those boundaries, the ones that are making AI more efficient, more accessible, and more impactful.
They're betting on the companies that are building the future of AI, a future where this technology is a force for good, a tool that can be used to solve some of the world's most pressing challenges.
That's their vision, and it's a vision worth paying attention to. They see AI as something that can benefit everyone, not just a select few, and they're putting their resources behind the companies that are making that vision a reality.
It's an empowering vision, and it's exciting to see companies like DeepSeek leading the charge in this new era of AI development.
It is. And if our listeners want to learn more about DeepSeek, about Omega Venture Partners, or just stay up to date on the latest trends in AI, I highly recommend checking out the Omega Venture Partners website. They've got some great resources, in-depth analysis, really insightful stuff.
It's a great place to keep your finger on the pulse of the AI world. And that brings our deep dive to a close for today. It's been a fascinating journey exploring the world of DeepSeek and the future of AI.
It has. And we'll be back soon to explore more groundbreaking companies and ideas shaking the world of AI.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep. Thanks for joining us, CCEE.